Welcome back, everybody, to Joshua's Magic. I'm joined today by my friend and associate, Nick Taylor. I'm going to be doing a Let's Play video with Hearthstone Battlegrounds, which is a game based on a game, Teamfight Tactics, that we played before, which is from the game League of Legends. And Hearthstone Battlegrounds is based on Hearthstone, which takes place in a made-up tavern which exists in World of Warcraft. So it's like that line from Tropic Thunder. I'm the dude playing a dude pretending to be another dude. So let's get into the game and then... what?
I say you got about 7 different layers of escape from reality here. So
oh, yeah.
If that's
There's all these levels of meaning. So without further ado, we'll start our playthrough of Battlegrounds, and then afterwards we'll talk about the game and other interesting stuff. Hopefully it'll come up.
Hope so. I didn't have anything interesting planned. So
yeah, I just hit a wall with Battlegrounds. This has like kept my attention more, I feel. You know, who knows tomorrow? I'll be like, wow, I'm so tired of playing demons or murlocs. This game's boring, but for now there's something in it. Oh, do I not have sound on?
oh, 2 heroes.
I don't like Millhouse's abilities. Sir Finney will give me a chance. Yeah, so this is different than Battlegrounds because you have like a hero who has some special ability. And then you buy minions from the shop, and, well, you'll see. But it's the same kind of game where you buy people and...
I just...
What?
Yeah, you build...
Set fresh opponents.
Your game sounds really loud.
It sounds really loud.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make him a taker. So I'll make some box tavern.
I gotta say, it's kind of distractingly loud.
What's that?
I have to say, it's kind of distractingly loud. The music.
Oh, now it's like too loud. I guess we don't need all the sound effects. I'll just share. I'll share. I'll change the screen sharing option so it's not doing computer sound.
Okay.
So it's like the same setup as Battlegrounds. Like you have minions, they fight, and then your hero takes damage based on how many minions you have left. Who's your hero, Nick?
I've chosen Dancin' Daryl, who I've newly come to like.
The rip-off of Michigan J. Frog.
Yeah, well, he's I believe he's some kind of mythical murloc creature. But yes, that idea.
Hearthstone is so silly, by the way. Like they just like let's put Michigan J. Frog as a character in this game.
Oh, it's supposed to be though.
Yeah, I actually was thinking how I like don't like how Hearthstone's so silly or the Warcraft universe, but I sort of recently appreciated it a little bit in ways I hadn't before. Jeez. I mean, you still can't get away from this, like not getting the people you want in the shop in this game or in Teamfight Tactics. So you got this mech hero power, and like you can't find any mechs in the shop except the Joey bot there in the middle.
Oh God, no! Put them out. Okay. Oh no! It didn't put the second out.
Oh, this guy's taking all my mechs.
Issues.
So these are all based on Hearthstone cards, by the way, in the actual game of Hearthstone. I mean, not all of them. Some of them are made up just for Battlegrounds, but kind of a neat expansion of the game. So they all have like different abilities and stuff. I'm trying to get mechs because I get a bonus to them.
Go ahead and hire one.
Got this. You're way ahead.
This rather obsequious bartender.
He'll say nothing but positive things to you. Like you lose, you're way ahead.
Yeah.
It's like those knickknacks in the 90s.
You're doing
like the talking fish or something that just like spits out things, or Magic 8-Ball. You're doing great. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got momentum.
We're playing against each other now.
Oh, this is you. Jeez, 2 Wrath Weavers. This guy, every time you play a demon, it does 1 damage.
Yeah, I did a little.
And it gets +2/+2. So he's got these like massive guys, but he's been taking damage.
Oh, I haven't though. That's the beauty of it.
You haven't what?
Because I used my hero ability.
Oh.
I haven't taken damage because I just used my hero ability.
Cheating, Nick. You cheated a bunch.
So level up.
And like Battlegrounds, if you get 3 of a guy, they combine into a bigger guy. But unlike in Battlegrounds, you get like a free card to play to choose a minion from a higher level of the store. So it sort of replaces what you've lost in combining the 3.
Wait, just so we're not confused though, you mean unlike in Teamfight Tactics?
Oh yeah, this is Battlegrounds.
That's the other one we're playing, yeah.
It's got the same...
Oh, I'm playing against the... Oh, I think this team's going to beat me.
I'm playing against some Murloc guy. Imagine I'll do pretty well. Much more minions. Oh man.
Bad loss for me.
Bad loss for this Murloc guy. He's got some weird hero power. You sell a Murloc back to the store. Get a bonus. You're so good. I was envious of you.
Teach me to be like.
You're my favorite person. Sir Finney. Yeah, this Michigan J Frog thing. We gotta look up if this is like a real character, just somebody they made up. Because in Hearthstone, you remember the Hog Riders? There was a set. What set was that they were in? Was it Mean Streets of Gadgets?
I don't know. It's a really long time.
It wasn't that long ago.
Might have been.
But they were like badass Hog Rider, and so it's like these like hog people riding on motorcycles, and I guess there are these things called quill boars in World of Warcraft, which is what Hearthstone is based on. But like I saw some like video or some like page where they kept going on about the Hog Rider clan, and like apparently it's like a totally fake made up clan that they just made up for Hearthstone. And this video went on and on about like it's an actual real clan where they actually really do real things in actuality.
Well, I've never heard of it.
It's not the strongest, but it'll fight hard.
Sorry, I couldn't hear Bob's compliments to me over Bob complimenting you.
Oh, that's a shame. He must have meant it more for me.
You got this. You're way ahead.
Yeah, I'm taking loads of damage early on in the hopes that my team will be better in the late game. Oh, I'm fighting you next.
And I am something. What should I do here? I guess I'll do this. Oh, I'll buy this guy. Right? No.
You can win this thing.
And everyone's got these boom bots.
Okay. Did not go well for me at all. It's incredibly powerful. Team lineup. If they killed that soldier, they're gone. Wow, you're at like pretty low health. Been hitting those Wrath Weavers pretty hard.
Yep. Well, that's part of it. It's also just losing.
That's what I would have done. Whatever minion you chose, that's the best. That's really great. And you're really smart and special.
Do I want this? Is that good?
Exactly what you were looking for. That will have it all.
A mech team coming together. I like Pogo Hopper a lot, but until you start playing a bunch of him, he's not very good. Just for every copy you play of him, the next one gets bigger. I've really got to upgrade so I can get like a Noyotron and stuff. No, sorry, a Noyo module, because a Noyotron isn't in Battlegrounds.
A Noyo module is pretty
oh god,
pretty formidable.
Ridiculous. Wow. Hardcore beating this guy and eliminating him.
Your minions really pulled their weight.
You're so great. I love you.
I've never seen anyone like you.
You're the best around. What's up, I gotta keep it. Ooh, another Pogo Hopper. Ooh, annoying.
Oh god, they've got me facing the first place guy next time.
What's that?
They've got me facing the guy in first place next round.
The Lich King.
And I'm all the way down. I might get eliminated.
I was at like 7th once, like a few games ago, and like I kept getting paired with some guy who had died.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we're not gonna make you fight the top guy. You fight this guy who like never played any minions.
Well, if I can beat this guy, it'll be a good sign.
Kind of want to get a micro machine so I can bind them into one. Sort of a waste to have to throw them away. Definitely getting that Annoyal module though. I wonder if I should throw away Joey Bot.
You can win this thing.
You should almost always throw.
Oh no. Well, I wonder, maybe I'll do all right here. And again, maybe not. Oh, hey, look, I won. Sometimes you can never tell.
Those who show you never. Oh, looks like I'm gonna win, I think. Wow. Impressive.
Our minions pulled their weight. Not like those other garbage minions. They were bad.
I didn't like them at all.
Whatever choice you made, that was the right one.
Oh, finally.
Ooh, this is good. This is, I want to put taunt on him. Maybe.
Ooh.
There's choices in the shop. Did you beat the Lich King?
Yes.
It's funny, me and you are both Murlocs.
No, we're not.
You're Michigan J Frog, who's really a Murloc,
Right.
and I'm Sir Finney Murgleton.
Well, amphibians have natural advantages.
This Cave Hydra stuff? Wicked. I've got a Deflecto bot, who every time you get another mech out there, he gets a bonus to attack and Divine Shield and stuff, which is nice. Oh no. Barely lost to the Lich King.
I keep taking out the first place guy.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
Upgrade. I think I'll upgrade. Ooh. Metal Tooth Leaper. Well, +2 attack. I feel like Battlegrounds is probably easier for people who don't know the game to follow than this is.
Yeah.
Getting there. Malagos. How I'll do against this. Oh, I took out his Draconoid Enforcer, and he's got a bunch of Divine Shields.
Nice.
That's going to set him back.
Stop that early.
But he's got 2 Wax Rider toggles, so every dragon kill he gets, he's going to... They're already pretty big, unfortunately. This is not looking good. I won't get eliminated, but there's more than I could deal with. He's got 2 golden Wax Rider toggles, so somehow he's managed to get 6 of those cards. Thanks, question mark.
Another satisfying.
Wow, 3 crowd favorites and one refresh of the shop. Hmm.
Still killing myself with demon damage here.
You still have 2 that aren't combined into a 3rd Wrathweaver?
Oh no, I got the 3rd Wrathweaver. He's a 44/44.
Ugh.
And I got one of those guys with the really high health, the Battle Master. And I pumped him so he'd have some attack. So he's
Battle Master?
the guy who gets a health for each damage you've taken.
Oh, that guy.
So he's a 10/35, I believe.
Playing against some dead person now.
How you doing?
Oh, it was pretty easy. Sometimes it's a challenge, like you die, but this person's team was so far behind from where we're at.
Well, I just eliminated somebody.
Nice. Great work. You're so impressive and wonderful.
Those minions really pulled their weight.
I want to sell.
Ooh.
Ooh, junk bot. Oh my god. Junk bot's so crazy.
This. Oh, wait, no.
Hmm. Junk bot's insane. That could really be a game changer for me. Man, that'll be insane. My own. Oh, the Lich King. This is not good. These little mexes are kind of good. They're removing the divine shield from stuff.
What is?
The little mech bots that I'm getting.
Oh, yeah.
They're handling divine shield and stuff. Oh wow, I might beat the Lich King. What's he doing?
I just eliminated this Molly Ghost.
I tell you, if he had junk bot, I would be in real trouble. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys I could level up. That would be... Lich King is still on top despite the damage I just did to him. Keep up the pressure.
Go ahead and hire one of these recruits.
Whatever you did, that was great. I caught what I needed. Sucks when you either have to sell somebody or Maybe I should just sell this guy.
One of us is probably about to eliminate the other because we play next.
I had to prepare for Nick's onslaught of evil and terror.
Well, my evil onslaught's coming pretty strong.
And Nick was just dastardly and evil. I could tell like the fiendish energies coming off of him. You know, they were like so bad that I had to use mechs to fight them because like organic beings would get like corrupted and stuff. Hopefully my Iron Sensei trained my warriors well enough to fight the hordes of darkness that Nick commanded.
My presence is withering to the life force.
Jesus. Ridiculous. Come on, kill that guy. Crazy. Oh wow, it's high. I beat Nick's evil to a standstill, but I couldn't close the dark portal and send it back.
I will be back.
I've got some fresh recruits for you.
And yet the Lich King still presides over all of it. So one of us is going to face one of these phantom dead players.
Looks like you can get a triple.
Ooh, baby, a triple. I'm just imagining messaging J Frog like summoning demons and committing acts of dark sorcery.
It could happen.
I think there was an episode of Looney Tunes or whatever that was actually kind of like that. Maybe I'm misremembering. Oh man, the Lich King. Ridiculousness. I'm trying to figure out if I'm making trouble or not. It's so hard to tell sometimes whether you're like winning or not.
I know, things can swing pretty quickly, right?
I think I've got it though. Oh yeah, I've definitely got it.
You got it? You won?
Yeah. My junk bot's just, and I have the Flecto bot that still has Divine Shield.
Oh yeah.
I almost defeated the Lich King, but he had 1 health left. I had to contend with Nick's dark demonicness. Oh man. I was supported by my Autobot friends.
I was superior or something.
Jeez. See, this Kangor's Apprentice doesn't actually work too well with mechs because a lot of the times you have those like little teeny mechs.
Yeah.
And she resummons those.
If you're summoning all those microbots, it might just bring back a bunch of those.
Well, also, like, so many mechs are just about boosting themselves. Like, Micro Machine gets +1 attack. Iron Sensei gives somebody +2/+2. You put a magnetic mech on another mech. Pogo Hopper gets bonuses. I mean, they all, like, get bonuses from stuff. And then when they get resummoned, it just brings it back without the bonuses. So it's like, what good is that? But if I could get a triple on one of these two guys, oh baby. Oh, I'm in first place.
I've seen it.
My virtue was keeping me ahead of these dark, fiendish evildoers.
You know, I was embracing the pain. You know, pain was the path to victory, so.
Oh no. Deck that was difficult in the past comes back. Wax Rider Todd Rival. I think I got it.
Lich King eliminated.
Oh, it's down to you and me again, just like in the team fight tactics video.
How do we make this happen? How do we do this?
It's magic. Joshua's magic. You know, with some help from Nick, you know, his apprentice, frankly. You know, I can't leave Nick alone because then he's gonna make the water and the broomsticks, and then it's gonna be terrible, folks. But when I'm supervising, it works. What dastardly evil will Nick unfurl on me? I couldn't tell that I needed answers or something. Oh wow, that's crazy. Oh man, there's so many crazy things I could do. Oh my god. Come on, come on. Wow. Let's see. This will be interesting. Oh man. Giant maul. Power Rages. Autobots versus demons.
We're coming for you.
That's
I was leaving.
Prime. Oh, shit. No.
You have a choice, Joshua.
The Decepticons won and Cybertron was doomed, but the battle had to be continued millions of years in the future on Earth. Well, that was a nice setup for the video. It's not like one of us got a 8th place and waited for the other one to finish.
Yeah, well, hey, last time we were 1st and 2nd and you won, so it's only fair.
Nick tried to justify his like consorting with fiendish creatures to like, oh, you know, we made a deal, and you know, I didn't go for that kind of stuff.
You know, you do what it takes. You don't hesitate because of somebody might not be the perfect hero you were waiting for.
Where's the Joker? Turn down your sound on the game so we can talk about stuff. Sit and talk. I desire to know your thoughts. But in seriousness, yeah, I like playing demons in that game too. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, I hadn't been doing that, but I saw, you know, there was something that was really synchronous with my hero power, which I don't know if people know what hero powers even are, but there was something that was very advantageous to the character I was playing.
So this is the guy when you sell somebody back, it gives another one +1/+1?
It gives 2 people, or it randomly gives 2 +1/+1 counters.
Oh, okay.
So if your guy is the only one left in the store, he gets both of them. So I didn't do it that much this game, but the trick would be like, if you have a bunch of gold, you buy everyone else in the store, then sell them back and make the one guy really big.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my sweetheart. Hello, my rectum.
I like, Battlegrounds. I'm starting to, well, I guess for a couple days now, I've been sort of preferring it to Teamfight Tactics, which, who knows if that's just because I've been playing Teamfight Tactics longer, but it seems, I don't know, it's just more fun. It's just
Well,
more,
it's more. I was gonna say dynamic, but I'm not sure that's the word. It's like sort of in Teamfight Tactics, you've only got so much you can do in a season. Like I've tried this combination of people, I've tried this combination, and like you have some different items. But it seems like there's just a lot more stuff that you can do here, or maybe I'm just getting more bang out of it for some reason.
yeah. And what I like about it too is I mean, this applies to Teamfight Tactics too, but somehow less so. Is like the fact that you're, once the battle starts, things are going to go in this kind of random fashion. Like the minions kind of attack each other somewhat randomly, but it's about like setting things up in the planning phases so that that randomness will pretty much work to your favor.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of like about these games. It's like giving order to the chaos guy.
Order to the chaos. The same thing happens though in Teamfight Tactics, as does Battlegrounds, where you're like, there's some foe with like one health left, and you're like, no, attack this one, and they like go and attack other guys and get killed.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there's probably more of an AI for that in Teamfight Tactics. Like here, it's just random attacks, right?
Is it? I mean, like, who's attacking is ordered. Like it starts from your left to your right.
Well, yeah.
But I guess they attack a random character unless it's somebody has taunt and they have to attack a taunt minion. Order to the chaos. That's an interesting thought.
Well, yeah, it's like setting it up so that you have more chances to win regardless of what happens.
It is a constructive sort of thing. It's like you've got this idea in your mind and you're sort of mapping it out and trying to overlay it onto reality.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's you sort of have to go with the flow and see what comes. But
Well, and I find like another difference is I get less in a rut. Like I was talking about how with Teamfight Tactics you get in a rut where it's like, oh no, I want to do it exactly like this, and you end up like sort of ignoring what's actually going on in the game. Like you have to build your team this really exact way that you have in your mind. And with this, I feel like it's more fun to like play around with stuff and not necessarily do that.
Well, there's sort of a weird thing, like, so you can't make a level 3 minion in Battlegrounds. You can only do that in Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah.
So if you get 9 copies of a minion, you just have 2 level 2 ones in Battlegrounds, whereas in Teamfight Tactics you'd have a level 3 guy. But it seems actually tougher to get the minions you want in Battlegrounds than it is in Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah, well, in Teamfight Tactics, it's like 6 different guys every time you reload the shop, like from the beginning of the game.
Well, no, it's only 5.
Oh, well, 5, whatever. And there's less like in Battlegrounds it's 3 and then 4 and then eventually it gets to be more, but
yeah, you can sort of control it a little bit, but it's yeah, that's the other thing, like upgrading the shop gives you more choices.
But that's part of what's cool about it is like you sort of you have to work things out more spontaneously because it's not just like, oh, I can definitely get the guy I want if I just reload a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, you can go a whole game where it's like, I think I've gone games where it's like you have one guy and you're like, oh, I want to get the other copies of him, and you'll just never see it. You'll have like that one version of it.
Well, and that's like with the order to chaos thing. It's like I like to sort of set things up a lot of the time so that I'll have ways to benefit no matter what comes up in the store. Like I'll have ways to spend my gold productively.
Be ready for what comes. I was thinking about the evolution of things, and I guess on the channel, and we've only done 2 Let's Play videos, but it was Battlegrounds. I'm sorry, I keep getting the names confused. Teamfight Tactics and now Battlegrounds. And in this other group, we were talking about this the spiritual group that we participate in. This idea of like cycles in history and the rise and fall of civilizations. And so today I was sort of thinking about that and regarding the channel's evolution and the evolution of like what games you play and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is kind of a cycle if you think about it to getting into a game.
How so?
Well, it's just, a basic sort of, I don't know, emotional kind of cycle. Like you get, at first you're like really super, or at first, you kind of fascinated by it, learn it a little, then you're super into it, play it over and over. Then it's like you're better at it, but it's just kind of, not quite as fun anymore until eventually you just don't even want to look at it.
Well, I think there's differences there too. Like with Hearthstone, like some games there have been that I like played, and then that was the end of it. Basically, who knows? Maybe I'll come back to them later. But other games have like kept my interest for a really long time, or there have been cycles. Like RuneScape, I played for years and years straight, and any breaks I took were like pretty short, and I'd still sort of be playing it even when I wasn't too much. But then at a certain point, it was just like, no, that's the end of it. I mean, part of it, I like to ballyhoo about, oh, they changed things that I didn't like in the game, but I wonder if that was the reason or if it was just time for me to stop playing, because I didn't leave as soon as those changes happened. I left like a year or two later.
But there's cycles to attachment. When you attach yourself to things in the world, there's a cycle to that attachment. And some things, because I guess it's to do with how those laws work that some things are able to hold you there for longer or indefinitely.
I kind of wonder about the need of the soul or the inner man, and that affecting what things you find in your outer world, and how much of it is just sort of like, I don't know, what people have put out there. Like, I'll give you an example. In RuneScape had all these like sort of like sub games within it, and like sub activities and mini games and stuff, which was kind of weird. But and it was an MMO where you had your character and leveled him up and went on adventures and all sorts of stuff. But there was this one thing where you got to take over your own port, where you had ships and you'd send them on missions to go trading or this and that, and you get resources from it. And this was so incredibly fun. Like, I remember I had Nick and this friend of ours, Dexter, and these other people came over for this Christmas party. And it was like just in this perfect zone where like the missions get progressively longer as you get into different zones with your port. So like I got past the missions that took like 15 minutes, and now I was in the missions that took like 45 minutes or an hour. So like during this like Christmas hangout thing, like I'd bring them into my room and be like, all right, I got to send out these ships. And, this guy, he's going to come back in an hour. And then half an hour later, we go back and check on it. I'm sure I enjoy that way more than Nick and Dexter. But yeah, and, beyond that, like amazing sort of confluence situation that was super fun, at least for me. Like doing the missions in player-owned ports, even then it would take like a day or whatever for them to come back. I really enjoyed like putting the guys on the ship that would give it the best chance of success and balancing all that out. But this idea of like having missions that your guys were doing while you were, just left them to it, and then they'd come back and bring you resources. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of similar to this, right? It's like you kind of decide what happens, or you decide certain parameters to make sure things go well, and then the machine just kind of does it.
Well, but there's sort of a different quality. This is sort of like they go off and do this whole big thing on their own.
Yeah.
This one, it's like every round you're changing the placement, you're buying new guys or whatever. This is just like you configure it and then send it out. And there was this thing in Star Trek Online that I used to play, and it was a similar concept. Like you'd have the crew of the ship, and you would assign them like away missions or things like that were similar to stuff they do in Star Trek: The Next Generation, like assign people to the xenobiology lab to study fungal samples from Exotope 4, whatever. Or send people on some diplomatic missions with the ambassador to Romulus. And I've never found some game where it's never come back for me, that sort of thing of just sending your guys on missions and stuff. But I really enjoyed that in both RuneScape and Star Trek Online. So it's like, did that only serve a higher purpose for me in like that narrow window, or not so narrow window where I was doing that, and now like I don't need that anymore? Or is it just that like that's it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because games kind of come into your life in a way, like, and it's because I mean, you and me both believe in synchronicity and stuff like that, where stuff will sort of enter your life at certain times or whatever.
Yeah, for a higher purpose.
And then you think about that with like, that's clicking somehow with like computer codes that are running on some online game somewhere. And it's just fascinating to think about, that this game enters your life in this way at this time.
Well, I think there's like group inspiration too, like
The logos.
your energy released by the logos that sort of impacts humanity or some soul group of humanity. And so like the energy might be, I don't know if this is exactly right, but the energy like comes through, right? And somehow it leads to some video game or some idea in a movie or whatever. But it's also coming through to you, and then you see this movie or video game, and then it connects with you. So it's like it's come from the same source, but it's come through these different channels, and they interact or connect in a certain way.
Yeah.
Or maybe like people that are looking ahead, like I don't know, get a glimpse over the hill of what the need of humanity is, like Shakespeare or somebody, and like makes these plays that are touching on issues that are speak to what humanity's going through or going to be going through or stuff. So how would you compare them, Battlegrounds and Teamfight Tactics? What would your rating or analysis be?
Well, I mean, Teamfight Tactics is sort of graphically more impressive, of course. It's more, it's actual simulated combat. You're actually seeing some kind of a fight play out. This is more just, I mean, it's almost pure, it's like numbers in an equation canceling each other out or something. It's like these two little minions with numbers on them just crashing into each other. But in a way I like that. It's like more emphasis on the other stuff. Yeah, there's something about Battlegrounds that's like more, I don't know, esoteric somehow. It's more like, it's more about the little things that go into it than like the external, like I'm saying, like the TFT is more externalized in a more impressive way. It's, it looks cool. It's actual fight scenes, quote unquote. It's like, but Hearthstone is more sort of esoterically based. It's like it's almost like the graphic element is just there to like give you something to test, the esoteric, like the esoteric ideas behind, how you go about building the team and doing everything. It's like, well, that all has to mean something, so here's the most basic possible representation of
There's less outer show.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to put it. I hadn't really thought about that. But I think they're both good. I wonder if why I've sort of fallen out of favor with Battlegrounds was
You mean with
getting. I keep getting mixed up. But Teamfight Tactics was just maybe it was to do with sort of like I played out all the combinations and it was just sort of doing the same or similar thing again and again. And maybe I'll hit that wall with Battlegrounds too, but we'll see.
At least TFT has different seasons. They'll come
Yeah,
out.
so they're gonna. Battlegrounds does too. I mean, I don't know if they call it seasons, but they change things up. Like they added a bunch of dragons like several months ago, and that weren't existing in that, and new heroes and things. So I think both of them evolve over time.
That's good.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's hard to say which is quote unquote better.
There's this genre is called auto chess.
Auto chess.
Yeah, where the computer like automatically generates the
I didn't
actual.
know that.
I think I don't know how many other games there are like that. There is apparently a game called Auto Chess, which I haven't seen.
I hadn't heard it was called auto chess.
And then there's also Dota Underlord, or what is it, Lords of the Underdark?
It's like this kind of thing.
No, Dota Lords of Underdark is basically the same thing as Teamfight Tactics. I think it might have been the original.
Oh, so Teamfight Tactics got it from them.
I think so. I'm not totally sure, but I don't think
Disclaimer: that might not be the case.
I think TFT is better though.
Yeah, I remember playing this game with a buddy of mine, League of Legends. We played all these similar games, and we decided League of Legends was the best. And then we played that for several months, and then that ended. But yeah, games come into your life for some reason. They have some sort of value or meaning. And sometimes they go away, and sometimes they come back. What do you think about doing another Let's Play video with like a more embodied game? Like these, like you were sort of saying, are more conceptual, even if Teamfight Tactics sort of has the combat laid out.
Yeah, we could try something like that.
All right. I'll have to see if I can get it to work on Zoom or maybe some other way of streaming it. Any final thoughts, Nick?
No, I suppose not. Everybody have a blissful, insightful, divine, supernatural day. Focus on the esoteric, but do what you must in the outer world.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon to get updates on our latest videos. Till then, from Joshua's Magic, have a wonderful day, everyone.